It's been quite a long time. And my previous video was about Sem 1 review of my master's. If you haven't seen that, have a look. And this video is going to be about semester 2. So, as I said in my previous video, that we started our NSEM examination with an EPAD, right? And the difficulties that we faced. So, this is the results that I got in my semester 1. So yeah, I think let's go to the reviewing of the semester 2. So the paper titles are quite different from what we said in semester 1. In semester 2, we go a little more in depth. We talk about, comparative politics, where we compare the major powers like UK, US, Russia, China, and try to understand the political structure internally and how these structures and this kind of formation that happens between people in institutions and history form the politics of these nations. Then we got national security and defense management and many such papers. So you go a little more in depth on the topics and the concepts of IR. Again, these are far from the Eurocentric vision and comes more about the Indian way of understanding international relations. So this semester, while its length was almost the same as the first semester, it included a lot more activities. We had conferences, and the very idea of how we divide regions like South Asia, Southeast Asia, and Americas, etc., etc. The very concept has now changed, that we look at the Southern Asia, right? So it's not just South Asia, but Southern Asia, where you include China and you include your other, close proximity states within South Asia, and how the interaction within these states form and can form a new identity of understanding something beyond geographical boundaries. So it's like identity, it's about the issues, it's about the problems that we face, and how these kind of issues can create more cooperation, right? So we can look into that. So while it was a good, well balanced in academics, we also had a lot more concerts, right? So while the first semester was not that much, it was just like, okay, normal events from Manipal hosting it to different associations hosting it. This one is more of singers and concerts, like which are actually good. So there were two types, one was paid and one was unpaid, depends on who is hosting it, but regardless, it was a lot more exciting than the first semester. While in the first semester presentations were just a part of your term paper presentations, this time it was a lot more in the sense of presentations with assignments, presentations of the readings. So it made you practice a little more on the sense, like how do we structure it down from a reading to something that you can make it interactive, to something that you have your own understanding with. So it's less of a reading, more like how do you bring out this to people, how do you explain this to your peers. So it was a lot more on that basis, where you were given a reading, or where you given a region, or were giving some sort of institution structure, and then you present it to them. So it is a lot more to do with peer-based learning, where you read one topic, you explain it, your other friends read another topic, and they explain it to the class. Some of them were graded, some of them were not graded, but the intensity of it and the repetition of these presentations increase over the period of time, right? So it is not just the lecturer giving you information, but more like your self understanding and you giving out as well. So that what has changed in semester 2. I have a piece here because I don't remember what I have to say. So in some of the activities, we also did a UNAC simulation, where we were assigned countries, and it was not like personal perspectives. We had to look into the history of the events, how these countries react to it, and we were given a situation and how we're supposed to possibly make that to happen, you know, to have a resolution passed, which, well, not surprised if we act with the state's actions, it was not passed. So the resolution was not passed, no outcomes happened, and the situation still went on. So it was an experience of why we understand why UN fails, why we see UNSC keep on failing. Like, even we even want to do it, right? When we see the state's response to those things, you see that there's a lot more complexity on the understanding of how UN structure works than how you like to believe it works. So that was some experience where we all actually, went down, taught the history, we looked into the different kind of resolutions, and yet we couldn't satisfy all the um, stakeholders, and hence the resolution was not passed. So that was kind of a new experience for me, at least, because months are kind of, like very you get to do, great things. You get to do reforms, resolutions that are well thought of and beyond this world. But this one seems a little more realistic, where you need to back it up, saying that these are the reasons why I wish to do so, and this how the state is going to react. These are the stakeholders that we feel that they are legitimate, these are not legitimate. So that's that. So again, these term paper presentations, again, as I said in my previous, it is both written and presented, whereas I think this time it was well more structured, where we had the times, like how we have a schedule is like when we have those classes, we have those presentations. So if you have a term paper on this particular paper, say comparative politics, when you had those classes in your timetable, you would do your presentations. So it was a little less hectic from compared to the others, but still it was depends on your preparations. So that's that. Nothing new much has changed there. What has changed is now we would be the last batch of the MA Geopolitics International Relations. They have changed themselves to MSc. So the entire goal of it is to make it more industrial oriented than just academia and PhD, and more of that side, where you come to PhD, and now you go from MSc. So MSc Geopolitics and International Relations is the new degree that we are having. So I don't know what changes are going to happen, how different is it going to be from an arts degree. So do check it out if you're interested. I guess that's a big plus now, that it is no longer an MA degree, it's an SC degree. So yeah, the internships. So it is a compulsion for you to do an internship after you finish a second sem. So you have 2 months of compulsory internship, which is June and July, right? So right now I'm doing an internship at Chennai Center for China Studies, and it is an online one. So you can see I'm at home and I'm doing the online one for about 2 months. However, you do have a choice to go to other institutions like ICWA, ORF, and other institutions that you feel that align with yours. So the major idea of doing these internships is something that this internships will help you guide yourself to something that you're interested in, that will move towards your dissertation. So make sure that you do have something in mind, the larger idea of what your interest is, and align that interest with the internship that you're applying to. Now, majority of these internships are unpaid. So if you decide to move to Delhi, like for example ICWA, those internships are unpaid, and you need to figure out your stay, your food, your travel, so on and so forth. So for me personally, because I'm interested in China, and they had a section of space, which I'm interested in both. So for me, this online internship was ticking all my points that I wanted, and I'm like, cool, I don't have to do much more expenditure, and it is aligning with my interest. So this is what I chose. You can choose to do with corporates as well, as long as you're doing an internship is what matters and you're benefiting out of something that is have to do with your dissertation. um, so usually what happens is, you send your applications, you tell that these are the ones that I want to go to, you tell your faculty, they'll give you some advices on how to send your emails, what is the letter of purpose. They do send letter of recommendations only if the application needs it, right? And in case if by that time you are unable to get an internships, they do try to put on their own request, they try to get their own contacts, saying that this person doing this, my student wants to do in this organization, right? So there is a help from the faculty, but first is you have to try it out from yourself. You need to figure out, you need to shortlist, you need to write them. So I applied to many. Some reached out quite late, some did not even reach out. It was just like, okay, you never know if they received your email or not. Some again were offline. I had to go to on site somewhere in Delhi, somewhere in Bangalore, which I found that it doesn't much align with my interest and budget, which I thought like, okay, it is not ticking the boxes that I need. So for me, I think I am doing well, and I think I would do another video on the internship after I finish my internship period, which is for 2 months. So 2 months is compulsory. Some only offer for 1 month. So you got to figure out if you are able to extend it, or you have to find another internship, right? So again, this is the result I got in my second semester, and for the third semester, I'm excited because it's like we are the seniors now. So I would be excited to see the juniors who are now MSc. So I don't know how much relevant it would be for me to give suggestions to my juniors, or to say them, okay, this is how the course is, because we are the last MA batch. But anyways, let's see how it goes. If you have any other doubts, do let me know. See you.